Good morning. Yesterday I gave you a very good opportunity to improve our connection, to make it closer, to make it more personal and one-on-one by using your phone. You could get an answer at any time of day. That is good. And you're talking to me one-on-one, right here, right now, live. You do think that this is a good opportunity, right? You're not in a group chat. You are not interacting with other users. This is not a forum. This is something live and something very, very personal. And this is the first time I am using this device for personal communication. Now, did you follow my instructions? Yes, you did. You, the 3 people who are listening now, you did. And what about the rest? You didn't. And I'm giving you a warning that if you are going to abuse my privacy and my time, you're going to be banned, all of you. And the 3 people who did follow the instructions correctly, you can thank the other morons who do not understand that 1 message per 1 person per 1 day is the rule. No exceptions, no matter how special you consider yourself to be, and everybody else is not, because you are you, so you're allowed 10 messages. Who cares about what she said? Let's call her. So, 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, 11 p.m. All throughout the day, missed calls from people I don't know, because you didn't put your number in the ID. Okay, you might not have a number, but I've seen your names in the emails. I know that you have a number issued by me. Why is your ID your name? I said it. Make your ID according to your number. 3 people have ears, and all the rest have plugs in their ears. Yeah, well, they heard the ID, but they didn't hear how to make it. Banned, blocked. If you want, try again. But I'm not going to tolerate any of this sort of behavior when I ask you to do something very simple and you do it wrong. What sort of service are you talking about? Now, rule number 1, 1 message per 1 person per 24-hour day. Rule number 2, no calls unless I decide to talk to you and I call you myself. You do not use the call function or the video call function to call me in the middle of the night, because it was still on sound and it was doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo all night. So, oh God, do people not understand that there's a time difference between Thailand and wherever you are? This is not something that you can abuse. We're going to try for 1 more day, and if there's anybody doing it wrong, all are going to be out and we're going to be back to email. Now, what else did I want to say? Rule number 1, 1 per day. Rule number 2, no calls. Rule number 3, nothing kinky. I'm sitting in a restaurant yesterday with my phone opened like this, and the line message pops up in green. It's on the table. What was the message about? The first line, hello goddess. My name is Lena. This is a personal device. I'm not a full-time dominatrix. I'm not a goddess in real life here. My friends call me Lena. You call me Lena. Hello Lena. No other words. Now, the second message from the same person was that he wants to be my foot-licking slave. And this is where I got it. Because my friend looked at my phone. It's something that flashes on the table. You look. The message comes in English. The friend speaks English. The friend reads the message. What are people going to think of me? What are you doing to my reputation? You are not to send any of that sort of content. First, because I don't want to read it. Second, because I value my reputation. Clean. Super clean. Nothing. No M word. No S word. No D word. And no goddess. If you have a question, if you have something to say it. once a day. You should learn discipline. Discipline is very important. If you don't follow my rules, don't use this function. If you do use this function, follow my rules. So 1, 2, 3. And your ID should be made according to your number. Your number has 3 digits. You can put letters before the digits and after the digits if you have your letters. If you don't put the letters, 3-digit number is okay. And there are IDs made of 3 digits. We got 588, we got 391 here. We got 154, 144, 129, 222. Okay, that's good. That is good. Excellent. And I don't know who the other people were because I've never seen those names before, and you sent more than one message. So try again or don't try again, and don't say, well, she's a bitch, she doesn't tolerate this. These are my rules. I give you something and I have conditions, and you accept this under my conditions. Now we're going to get back to the friendly chat. Okay, and the friendly chat today is going to be about the second part of my life in Korea. What was the second part? Yesterday I started on why and how I ended up at the temple and never got to the temple part, and got emails asking what happened, and I'm like, did I not say anything about it? No, I didn't. Okay. I was getting fed up with city life. Why? Because it was a rat race and it was so materialistic and full of superficial values, and people were not really themselves. They were always trying to be somebody rich looking or somebody with a good CV, good resume, good university, and belong to a certain group. People would lie to you which university they graduated from. I don't know if that is common in any other country, but it's so easy to check. And just to look better, you would tell your new date that you graduated from Seoul National University or Yonsei University, just to look better. And how does that make you? How insecure are you about yourself if you have to lie about the university that you went to? Or if you didn't go to university, why not just say it? Where is the confidence? So there were a lot of questions, and I wanted these questions answered. Where is the society going? Where am I going with this society if I'm to stay in this country? Why do I not understand people who follow this social pressure and break themselves all the time just to belong to a certain group of people, to a certain society, to the artificially created group of the successful people. And I didn't want to be part of it. It was all about money. It was all about greed, about names, about brands, and so on. So where are the answers? And I traveled around the country by myself, going here and there, and temples. I found temples fascinating because they are so peaceful and quiet and are usually in the mountains and beautiful places. And I thought, wow, I would really like to just stay in a temple and listen to the birds and relax for a while. But temples don't have like hotels or motels where you could just stay and pay some money for it. Although some bigger temples, they run temple stay projects where a group of foreigners or a group of Koreans would come, pay a certain amount of money, and they would be guided through kind of a temple life. Of course, it wouldn't be too much of a real stuff, but maybe close to real. They would wear temple clothes and they would be fed temple food, and they would have to wake up like at 3 or 4 in the morning and go to the prayer. It's not a religious experience, it's more participating and meditating and looking inside yourself. You're not prostrating in front of any god. There is no god. You are purifying yourself and getting back to your inner core of who you really are, trying to understand certain things, asking questions, emptying your mind, whatever else. And I happened to meet a lady in one of the cities in Korea while I was traveling. I didn't have a plan, I was just driving and walked into a shop, and a big holiday was coming, and she said, well, what are you doing for that big holiday? And I said, well, nothing. I got no plan. I guess I'm going to be driving around still. And she said, well, why don't you visit my monk friend at the temple? And I said, like, wow, a temple, monk friend, how exciting, how cool. And she took me there. I didn't know her, but she took me to the temple 3 days later. And this was the same monk that was here last week, and that was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. Since that time I was brought by her to the temple, and she talked to the monk and asked him if he could let me stay there for 3 days, and I was so thankful. I was given a little tiny room with nothing, bare floor. In Korea, people traditionally do not use beds or tables or chairs or sofas or armchairs. So we sit on little cushions on the floor, and we sleep on little thin mattress on the floor as well. And still in many families that is the case. So the tiny little room that probably was half the size of this veranda, like 2 by 2 meters maybe, with a tiny little toilet and a shower kind of hose to it. But this was basic, and this was enough. There was nothing on the walls. There was a door with a key, and not the key, it wasn't the key, with a button I think it was. Anyway, enough to survive. And I stayed, and every morning the bell would ring, and I was told that I had to get up. At that time it was 3 in the morning, still dark and chilly. It was maybe September or October. So, of course the floor was heated in the little room, and it was nice and warm to sleep on it. But getting up at 3, like, oh, is it 3? I didn't go to sleep early at that time. You get up and you go and you watch the monks hit the drum. It's a huge big drum, and a metal, something similar to drum, I don't know what they call it, like okay, you hit it and it makes a sound, same as the drum. And in the temple they have the wooden mokdak, which I have here in the house too. And you sit there and do the prayers, you read the text. Again, it is not really religious, it's more about the world. It's a philosophy. It's not praying for something. It is about you and about the world. More understanding rather than praying. Many people who do misunderstand it, but it isn't about asking, oh God, can you give me health? Oh God, can you give me money? Can you make my family happy and fortunate? I don't see the point in that, because God has nothing to do with it. You do, other people do. So get into action. Get the right mindset to make yourself healthy, make yourself rich. Bo! Bo! Haven't seen Bo yet today. Bo! It's nice. It's hot. And then it was like this, and then I started to get interested in all the texts, and they use Chinese characters, so I had to learn Chinese characters, and that took a lot of time, because you know how complex they are with all the strokes, and I think these are like not simplified but ancient Chinese characters, because the Buddhism in Korea came from China, through China, so a lot of their sutras were written in Chinese characters, probably all of the sutras. And to understand any of it, you need to know the Chinese characters. And it's not like a 30 or 70 letter alphabet. It's lots of Chinese characters, and each one has a meaning, like a picture. Korean alphabet has, what, 23? Probably about 23, 24 letters. You can read in a day or two. You know the sounds, you know how to read words. But with Chinese, I still don't know how to pronounce them properly. I know the Korean version of the pronunciation, but the Chinese version is totally different. But the meaning, when I look at the characters, like, oh, this is that meaning, this is that meaning. Not all of them, of course, but at that time there was enough to understand, say, a certain sutra. You would have to learn about 200 or 300 different characters to be able to read a page. And all of them look very similar to each other at the first glance. I would practice in the sand or on the ground, write it and wipe it, and write it and wipe it off again. And the monk, first very reluctant to teach me, but after a while, and I would bother him every day. It's like, what's this, what's this, what's the meaning of this, can you tell me this, can you tell me this? And then finally, after persistent sort of nagging and asking, he did open up a bit, and he did start to teach me certain things. It wasn't much, it was just like a very one-sentence saying per day, but it had power and it had meaning. And I remember the first ever was, life is like a cloud that is here, but the next moment it is gone. Something similar to that. And then you have to think about it for the whole day. And when you meditate, when you sit there, when you do the walking meditation up the mountain, and the temple was in the mountain, it took 4 hours to get up. It's a big mountain, with waterfalls, and you can drink the water from the rivers. It's very clean, beautiful views. Autumn, all getting colorful, red and yellow, and but still warm-ish. And you would think about that phrase, that indeed life is like a cloud, because when we see a cloud, one moment it's there, an hour later you look at it, it's not there anymore, it's gone, and our life is just like that. And how many people around us have died and have been born in our lifetime? We don't really notice that so much, that life is always repeating, and there are people coming, people going, people leaving, people come in, and people getting sick and dying, somebody getting pregnant, having a baby, and it's all a rotation, and we are just part of that rotation. So once we're here, next moment we're gone, and people are not really going to remember us unless they're our father, mother, and something awful happened to us. Then yes, we would leave scars on their hearts for a long time, but most of the people, pity, she was a young girl, gone. Thinking about Thailand, even last year, friends who died in motorbike accidents here on Samui. I was depressed the first week, because one day she was there talking to me, and the next day she was gone. A person who is younger than me, a person who had dreams and ambitions and wanted to do this and that, and a person who had a 6-year-old child too, raising the child by herself, and the child was left. And all her family was somewhere else, so the child had to be sent out of Samui and so on. Very shocking, but it is life, and it is what happens. We never know what is going to happen next. She didn't smoke, she didn't drink. she ate very healthy and did sports too. Yet, gone. Was she driving? No. She was standing on the side of the road in a safe area. And somebody drove into her from the back. Nothing that she could have predicted or been careful about. Another one, hit by a coconut. Can't do anything about that. You drive, you walk, there are coconut palms everywhere. It's a chance, and life is a chance. And this is what you learn. You don't learn it from books, you don't learn it from the words of the monks, you learn it from yourself, you learn it from nature, from observation and thinking about it. And you learn about people and bare communication. And by bare communication, I mean communication without trying to be nice or socially accepted or pretending to be happy or pretending to be interested. The monks don't pretend, and that teaches you a lot about communication with people. If he's not interested in talking to you at that time, he would not say anything, turn around and walk away without saying like, oh, I really have to go now, I'm sorry, I really would like to talk to you more, but I have an appointment. He wouldn't say that. And if he thinks that your question is stupid, he would give you a look that will say everything. He wouldn't try to explain, thinking like, oh, this is a really stupid question. I like that, because in life, I didn't have any of that. People would always try to be nice. People would always try to pretend that they're interested. Oh, hello, how are you? Oh, great to see you again. What was your name again? You just said that, how are you? And you just said that it was great to see me again, and you don't remember my name. Is it really great to see me? No, it's not. But this is what we're taught to say in life here in this society. I don't like the sort of fakeness, and I don't like this sort of approach when we are covering our real feelings and our real emotions with this socially acceptable coating, sweet coating. If I don't like somebody, I will not lie to them and pretend that I'm really busy to meet them. I would ignore them or say it straight. And I know I'm harsh sometimes in the emails, saying that if you want to do something, if you want me to do something for you, make me want to do it. I will not do it because you want me to do it, and I will not do it because I feel guilty and obliged to do it, because I don't feel guilty. We don't have any must do. We don't have any obligations to anybody, unless we have a little son or daughter and we have an obligation to take care of them, because that is something that we brought to this world. Maybe an obligation to respect our parents, but not really. Not really, we can. But true compassion and true interest and genuine interest in people and true service is something that I admire, something that I have learned in the temple. And sometimes I cried because they were so harsh. They were really, you know, as I said, I wouldn't be able to wake up for breakfast, and breakfast was at 6 a.m. And if you will go to sleep at 1, you can't wake up. And you don't have food the whole day. And you walk around the kitchen, it's like, no, you woke up late. No, but I'm hungry. No, that's a no. That's something that makes you understand. It's like, oh, you really don't care. Where's this compassion in you? Where's the... Now I understand that people try to teach me something about discipline. If I commit to a certain schedule, I have to stick with the schedule and stick with people. Again, with drinking tea, it's a regular task in the temple. You don't have to talk. You have to do it 3 times. You have to not make any noise, putting the cup down, and all these little things that now make sense. Instead of like, oh, stupid rituals, don't see the point. Why? Now when I go to a restaurant and see how people eat, when they put a spoon on the plate, you can hear it from one side of the restaurant to the other, how much noise they cause with their meal, with their phone calls, with talking to their friends, with talking way too loud. Japanese are really good at this. Very quiet, very discreet. They don't harm other people by something that they do. Even in the park, kids don't run around and scream, and dogs walk next to their owner on the leash. There isn't any disturbance given to other people. But I don't always live by the by those rules, because it takes a lot of discipline to constrain yourself. Modesty, not harming other people. And by not harming other people, it's it isn't meant in an extreme way that you go and punch somebody or steal their bag. It is meant in small ways as well. I think smokers are the greatest sinners. And my neighbor here before, used to live here and was living there, was a smoker from Switzerland. And it was so uncomfortable living next door to him because killers open the door and get a deep breath. But people don't realize that, okay, he might be enjoying something, but he is harming the other. Humming with the unpleasant noise, with the unpleasant smell. I mean, his friends would come over and they would have a barbecue party with all the meat smells, smoking, and heavy metal music until 3 a.m. while I was sleeping next door. Now, is this worth conflict? No, I can tolerate it. But does that produce the desire in me to be nice to that person or interact with them? No. I just want to avoid that person as if they are empty air and I don't have any relation to them. One smile a day and a modest hello is enough, but no conflict and tolerance, patience. Yes, you can go over and start telling them, hey guys, it's 3 a.m, can you turn your music off, please? I'm trying to sleep here. You can do that, but what sort of emotions would that create in them? It's Saturday night. What on earth are you complaining about? You sleep way too early. And we're enjoying. It's 3 of us and 1 of you. So, tough. Get used to it, girl. You never know who is right. But sleeping quietly does not harm other people. What did I do in the morning? At 5 in the morning, I got up, got my tablet, turned on the Thai radio, and put the volume on full. I hope he heard it. But this is mean, and I wasn't supposed to do that. Although I do listen to the radio, but I never put the volume on full. Because half is enough. Yet this time there was something nasty in me that wanted to go all the way. And slam the door a couple of times. One, close, open, close. Flush the toilet. Drop something on the floor. Yay. What a mean flatmate. But it isn't about revenge. And that is something that you gotta exclude out of your life. All builders. So this was life in the temple. There's a lot to tell you and a lot to learn at the temple and from the people who have lived all their life from childhood in the mountains. They are very naked, bare people without being affected by any materialism, innocent in a way, yet very sophisticated in their ideas of life. They know what it's like to feel for other people. They understand people and they can relate to people, and they're very kind and very open. Yet they know how to teach people a lesson, to be disciplined, to be more in tune with nature and so on. You know, you can't request for a second mattress because your back hurts from sleeping on the floor. And you can't say, oh, my room is not warm enough. Or, you know, get used to it. You are not to complain about anything. And I've sent people, even from here, from Samui, to stay at that temple later on. And the girl went last July, and she stayed there and it's like, sent me messages. Lina, I hate the food. Why did you send me here? It's like, get over it. You have to get over it. No, I'm going to get out and catch a bus and walk to get some decent food, because the food is all vegan in the temple. And she loves pork. And she was having a really hard time, and she didn't wake up early. So she was resisting the whole time and waiting for the day to get out of that experience because it's hard, and you don't need to do it because she's not a monk. She can get out and get pork and get a soft bed and get books, internet and computer. So that makes us think that some lessons are good for us, but we try to resist them. We try to justify our own desires and our habits. But I'm not a monk, but I don't need to sleep on the floor, but... And we spoil ourselves. An interesting email a few days ago. It's like, to belong to you, do I need to refuse all the junk food, all the alcohol, smoking and this and this? It's like, yes. Well, it's not something that you want to do. What do you want? What is the point of belonging then? To satisfy one itch and leave everything else with you. It's for your own sake. The more you can tolerate, the less you need in life. The less you need in life, the happier you feel. Because you don't lack physically this, and this. You can leave. You can live in a bare box with a plain floor, water to drink, and fresh food to eat. You don't need your sauce. You don't need your, I don't know, plates, forks, big forks, large forks, small forks, and everything else to eat. You can eat with your hands. The less you need, the happier you are. But it's good to have things too, especially if it is a trampoline. I know I don't need a trampoline, but I really want one. Why? Because I'm not a monk. So here is my resistance. Still, yes, I haven't lived in the temple for enough. I can't refuse certain desires. I can refuse a lot of desires, but not trampoline. With food now, it's okay. I don't eat after 5 p.m. and that is going fine. That is even 4:30 done with food. Thank you to Osha. I think that's what, 4 days already? Changing the habit. No, I don't feel dizzy. No, I don't faint while I do yoga or run or do anything else. Don't worry about me. If I feel not 100%, I wouldn't exercise, of course. So, does this leave you with any thoughts at all? No, doesn't matter. But remember the rules. If you want to use line with me, follow the rules. Once I block you, you can reapply and create another ID. But from that moment, follow the rules. Do not make my life more complicated. You are there to make it more simple, to make it more comfortable, and to make it more pleasant.